What's up? Hello. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Yes, we'll start out with a little oneness by actually acknowledging each other. That'd be a good place to start. So I'm going to take a little song to allow us to kind of get ourselves centered in. If you're here for the first time, I want to apologize for whoever drug you. All you have to remember about this class is that you don't have to believe anything that you hear, or accept anything that you hear, or welcome anything that you hear. Some of the things may be, frankly, hard to believe. Some of it's going to be startling. You're not really being asked to judge the ideas at all, but it's using it that will show you that it's true. And since we don't believe in accidents, it's no accident that we're here. So it's a possibility that there's something that we're supposed to hear tonight. And so what you should be on the lookout, what I would suggest that you be on the lookout for is that sentence, is that realization, is that statement that makes you go, aha. It might be just that statement, and that's the only statement that you were here to hear tonight. So just stay, just be open-minded and have a good time. We just want to, we're trying to be sincere, but we're not really trying to be serious. Mm-hmm. So that's the name of the game. All right? I'm not going to break out into Kool-Aid. Nobody's trying to do anything like that. Might break out a little boom storm. Yeah, I know what you mean. Oh my goodness. So here we go. So just take a breath. We're going to another land. We're going to the land of I Am. The name of this song is In the Land of I Am. And remember, all events are neutral. All events are neutral. All events are neutral. Look with innocence of what you value. Look with innocence of what you value. Look on innocence of what you value. Get in touch with your I am. What are you linking your I am to? We're going to be on lesson 9. All events are neutral. In the Way of Mastery on page 106. And what I'm going to do is go through some of it and then throw it open for questions and comments, and then go through some more and throw it open for questions and comments. So try to hold your questions and comments until that particular time. because it's going to probably bring up some stuff for you. All right, so we're going to start with the paragraph on page 106 that says, your lived experience. Your lived experience. Do you know that your lived experience is that momentarily you seem to be focused on your unique world? Mm-hmm. Like right now, it looks like you're focused on your unique world. And it looks like you share some things with many other beings, but you're really focused on yourself. Even though it looks like you're sharing some things with other beings, pretty much we're focused on who? Ourselves. And you have what is called in your world a consensus reality, that we would say a consensus born out of a universal reality. Like right now we're all agreeing that there's gravity, and we're all agreeing that we're sitting in this room, and we're all agreeing that we need to breathe. We have a consensus reality, but in that consensus reality, your attention is focused on your unique world. So even as you abide in the awareness of this moment that you're in right now, even though you're abiding in this moment that you're in right now, you are the creator of the world you experience. You are the creator of the world you're experiencing. You are the creator of the world you are experiencing. And you do this in so many ordinary ways. When you stand face to face with anyone for just a split second, you alter the body through which you gaze upon them. You take up a new stance, a new perspective. In that very split second, you created a new experience for yourself. I'm looking at you this way, I get myself an experience of you. I look at you this way, I get myself a new experience of you. So every moment, every second, we're giving each other a new experience of each other. Like right now, everybody in here is looking at a neutral situation, and then each one of us are giving the meaning to that neutral situation. So everybody in here right now is having a different experience of this moment right now. Some people feel comfortable, some people feel uncomfortable, some people are wondering what the hell is going on, some people are glad to be here. It's the same whatever it is that's happening, but each and every one of us is having our own unique experience of it. So when you look upon a friend and the mind moves from neutrality, which is where you begin every experience begins in a neutral way. Every experience begins in a neutral way. And then you say, that's my friend. And my friend, this is my friend so-and-so. This is my friend so-and-so. Whatever that name may be, when you hold that thought, already you begin to change the experience. Like right now, we have an experience. It's a neutral experience, but the minute you look at me and say, that's Earl, then you just changed your experience. Then you look at somebody else and say, that's Linda. You just changed your experience. So you're literally creating in that moment. And so when you name anything, you define it according to the factors that you built into the name that you use. If you say, you love me, then you name that, and then you have another experience of me. You say you don't like me, then you have another experience of me. You name, as soon as you name anything, you give yourself another experience of it. Right? As soon as you name it. I don't like being here. I do like being here. I wish I was somewhere else. What am I going to? As soon as you name it, then you give yourself a new experience of it. And when you look upon a field of energy arising from the mystery of the earth and you call it tree, like you look out the window and you call it tree, instantly you brought forth into your manifest experience everything you've ever decided is associated with the field of energy that you call a tree. Oh, I fell out of a tree, I bumped into a tree, I had my first kiss under the tree, I did a lot of stuff under the tree. So as soon as you say tree, there's a lot of associative memories that's going to come with that. And what you're really looking at is a field of energy, but you're calling that field of energy a tree. You're looking at me, I'm a field of energy. You're calling me a person. So it's your experience of it is going to be entirely unique. Some people see a swimming pool, they get excited. I see a swimming pool, I don't get particularly excited because my experience of being in a swimming pool wasn't pleasant. All right, so again, but what I'm looking at is what? A field of energy. And so it has never been before and is never going to be again. So nothing can repeat it. And that's why nothing in creation is old, it's always new. It's always new because you're always naming it and you're always giving yourself another experience of it. So you can stand with your friend, you can look at the tree, you can nod your head, and you can say, that's a tree. I see the branches, I see the leaves, but as soon as you've named it, you're going to bring forth a lot of associations that you call to yourself. You're going to bring to you an experience of that field of energy that you call tree. If you say Earl, black man, then you're immediately going to bring forth every association that's related to anything related to a black person. As soon as you say Earl, African American, you bring forth every association you've had with that all the time. When I used to be like, the images that I saw of myself in an African American body on TV was so distorted when I was growing up that I could totally understand why people who were not around people in African American bodies would be afraid. Because the images that they were seeing in the newspaper and on television would help bring that association with it. So as soon as you would see me, then it'd be easy for you to associate the images that you see on TV. But what I really am is a luscious, fine field of energy. That's who I really am, just in case you wondered what the correct perception is. Okay, all right, then so are you. Thank you. So thank you for your correct perception. I appreciate that. I really do. So rest assured, those called environmentalists and those you label loggers definitely see a different experience though they both are looking at the same tree. Which is right then and which is wrong. The way that the environmentalist is looking at the tree or the way the logger is looking at the tree. So in this lesson, we're going to address another one of the pebbles that you're dropping into the pond of your mind. And we're going to look at all the different webs of relationships, all the energy fields, and we're going to say it's absolutely neutral. Everything is absolutely neutral. And what creates experience is how you decide you're going to view all the web of relationships in your life, how you're going to view all of the energy in your life. But the effect of that decision is also completely neutral. However you decide to react to anything is actually neutral. It's just your reaction. It's neither good, it's neither bad, it's just your reaction. So the thing you're reacting to is neutral, and your reaction to it is neutral. So how can that be? How can that be? How could everything you see be neutral and then your reaction to it be neutral? And it says, well, when the logger sees a tree, then and then sees only the profit to be made, he says, then the forest disappears. But when an environmentalist looks at a tree, the tree remains, and the mighty owls and birds have a place that they can call a home. Surely are we not to perpetuate that same reality, the reality that there are a lot of places where birds and owls can have a home. He says, should we not perpetuate the same experience that all human beings have had? Is there not loss when the forest disappears? Is that not a loss when the forest disappears? Now this is what's going to be the trip to here. Listen well, listen carefully. All events are neutral. So you are the one who places the value on the forest being here, and you're the one that places the value on the forest disappearing. You're the one that places the value on whether or not there's a place for birds to live, and you're the one that places the value on whether or not the birds will be here. It's still neutral. What makes it neutral? What makes it neutral is that it doesn't have any meaning until you give it meaning. If it had an inherent meaning, then everybody would be reacting to it basically the same way. But the fact that some people could absolutely care nothing about whether or not the birds live in the tree, and some people do, means the event itself is neutral. Each one of us is determining how we want to deal with it. You see what I'm saying? So that now, he says, now, does that mean that one should become cold-hearted, unconscious, and blind to their actions? He says, well, of course not. For part of awakening means to realize that you have an interconnection and a web to all relationships. We are in an interconnected web of relationships right now. So it means that you need to awake to a reverence. We need to have a reverence for this mystery called life. But it also means that you need to release judgment of somebody else who sees it differently from you. Because you see, the body that you crystallized, your body is something that you've crystallized out of a field of infinite energy. Your body, I'll say this again, your body is something you've crystallized out of a field of unlimited energy, but for one purpose. Your body only has one purpose according to this. The purpose of the body is for you to use it as a communication device. The purpose of the body is for us to use the body to join in love and truth and consciousness with each other. The real purpose of me having a body is for that body to be used as a conduit for love to come through. Think of yourself as the hose and spirit as the water that's going through the hose. Think of the water going through the hose as the love and the power. Think of yourself as the hose. You aren't the water. You aren't the love, but you are the conduit that the love comes through. And so when you are full of grievances and anger and hate and judgment, it's like a kink in the hose, and it doesn't allow the water of spirit to go through. So don't be a kink in the hose. How can you tell if you are a kink in the hose? If you are a kink in the hose of love, then your own life is unsatisfying. Your own life is boring. Your own life has lack. Your own life is not happy because you're not allowing love to flow through your life and to flow through yourself. So a class like this could be called Let's Unkink the Hose. You know, so your body is a means to unkink the hose. Right now I'm using my body to communicate loving, true thoughts to you. That's the correct use of my body. It's to communicate love. It's to communicate truth. The incorrect use of my body is to use my body to perpetuate separation, guilt, and attack, and grievances, just for a start. So if you're using your body for separations, grievances, attack, and judgment, then your body reacts to that by becoming what you call sick. Okay, sickness is nothing but anger taken out on the body. Sickness is some form of grievance. Sickness is some form of unconscious resentment. Sickness is a sense of being separate and alone. Sickness is a way to be special. Sickness is a way to stand out. Sickness is a way to get attention. Sickness is a way to make people feel guilty. Sickness is a call for love. Sickness is a call for God. Sickness is a call for health. And sickness is a call for healing. But sickness is letting you know that at some level that there is something that you need to take a look at, but without judging yourself and without condemning yourself. And by sickness, I don't just mean your physical body. Sickness is also related to a lack of peace in your mind and guilt in your mind. So you can have a very healthy body and have a totally screwed up mind. So it's not necessarily because your body looks good, it means you got a lot of sense. Sometimes people with bodies look good have the least sense of all because they don't need to have any sense because they got a good looking body. That's why people work on their body more than they do their mind.
Yeah.
Because we're in a world where people are more impressed by how you look than how you think. So if you look good, you are good. You know, serial killer who look like a really handsome movie star will probably get a lot of victims. But a serial killer that looks like the Hunchback of Notre Dame, that's not going to get anybody in his car. All right, so think about that. Just because somebody look good doesn't mean they are good. But in our society, they do. They immediately looked at as good. Okay, so what we really want to get in touch with is with the content. So therefore, let your primary perception, that means let your primary guiding light in this third dimensional experience be this. What do I choose to communicate to the world? What do I choose to communicate to the world? And what do I choose to communicate to the world with every gesture, with every breath, and every word spoken, and every decision made? So what am I going to choose to communicate to you with every gesture, every breath, and every word that I speak? What am I going to choose to communicate today with every gesture, every breath, and every word that I speak? That's how we should get up in the morning. That's what we should be asking ourselves. What am I going to choose to communicate to the world today? And every gesture I make, and every breath I take, and every word that I speak, and with every decision that I make. Because while your body lasts, you're going to be in the process of communicating with the world as long as your body lasts. And you're going to make it manifest in the world. What you've chosen to value is what you're going to manifest in the world. And what you called into your experience and what you value is what you're going to manifest. So your life is a reflection of what you value. Your life is a reflection of what you value. Everything in your life is a reflection of what you value. Your relationships are a reflection of what you value. Your financial situation is a reflection of what you value. Your health situation, your career situation, everything about your life right now is a reflection of what you believe and a reflection of what you value. So are you happy with your values? Are you happy with the reflection that you're getting from what you value right now?
No.
If your reality is full of people that's attacking you, there's some part of you that's valuing attack. If your world is full of people that's supporting you, at some level you're valuing being supported and loved. If your world looks like it's full of lack for you and there's never enough, you're valuing lack and what's not enough. Your world is the way that you get in touch with what you really believe about yourself as opposed to what you say you believe about yourself. You can say you believe anything about yourself. Look at your physical reality. Your physical reality is a reflection of what you truly value. Your physical reality will show you what you really believe. Your imagination will show you what you want to believe. denial and self-deception to make you see what you want to believe, but it's not what you believe, because what you experience is what you believe. It always goes over great. Now, because many people want to sit back and believe that their experience is being affected by something or somebody outside of themselves, and that their situation would be better if somebody else spoke or acted differently. If something outside in the world changed, then everybody would be happy. So that's why this course is telling us that that right now, check this out. It says when an environment, I love this. It says, when the environmentalist looks at the logger, perhaps exasperated, and judges the logger, or vice versa, the body will be used to communicate the value of that judgment. If I don't like the environmentalist, I'm going to use the body to communicate that judgment. If that creates fear and contraction, which is the result of many minds choosing to value the right to judge, is the effect you call upon your world. In other words, all of the things that you see in the world, everything seems to be expressed in conflict, struggle, butting heads, and the Armageddon of opposite ideas running into each other. But beneath all the crap that's going on in the world, and everything that's upsetting everybody, and everything that everybody's talking about, and everything that's happening on TV, underneath all of that, everything is completely neutral. Underneath everything that we're seeing on the news, reading in the paper, what's happening in your personal life, underneath all of that is completely neutral. Why? Because you can tell me the most devastating thing about what's going on in your life, and I don't have to have any reaction to it whatsoever. It doesn't have to move me one way or another. Your child is a totally neutral child. You may be totally, completely thrilled to see little Johnny coming. Somebody else, little Johnny doesn't mean anything to. To them, Johnny is totally neutral. Their kid's not neutral, but your kid is neutral. You follow what I'm saying? So again, what this lesson is trying to get us to see is that all of the meaning that we are having, anything that we're going through right now, is coming from the meaning that we're giving to a neutral event. So it says, so even if the forests of your planet were completely taken away, that would be a neutral event. Why? Well, because if all the trees were gone, if the very physical earth died, if it dissolved from view, life would continue. If we destroyed this planet, the life on this planet, with a nuclear war, in so many millions of years, another life form would evolve out of the nuclear waste, and life would continue on in another form. So we can never end life, but we can certainly end what appears to be a form of life. So that's why it's neutral. So that's deep. Now remember, I'm not saying you have to agree with any of this or it makes you feel good, but it's just the truth. And once you learn what the truth is, you can start to move toward the happiness that you really want to experience, because at that point you will realize you have the greatest power of all. You have the power to determine what will affect you. And your power to determine what will affect you is all you need to know how to control in order for you to be happy. That's all you need to know in order to know how to have happiness, is for you to understand that everything is neutral, but you are not giving it a neutral meaning. So life would continue, it would just create new worlds. It does it all the time, and you do it all the time. No matter what happens to you, you keep on going. Your closest relative could die, so to speak. All the people around you that you've known and been close to have made that transition. You went on. Your life went on. And we all noticed that, but our specialists tell us it would be different for us. Like, it's hard to believe that the day after your funeral, all your friends would go to the movie. I don't care how much, or they go to see jazz in the park, or they be out on their latest, you know what I'm saying? Because our specialist tells us that everything should stop when we stop, because our death is a neutral to us. It means a lot to us. You know what I'm saying? It's really, I was thinking about this the other day, how if you're not in somebody's physical reality affecting their day-to-day experience and having a direct interaction with them every day in some kind of way, if that person was out of your life, it would not have a direct effect on anything that's going on in your life. Did you know that? Think about that for a minute. The only people that's really having a direct effect on anything that's happening in your life are the people that you're interacting with now in your day-to-day life. The rest of the people, your relatives out of town, your friends somewhere else, The only reason why they exist to you basically is they exist in your mind and in your memory. That's it. If somebody hits your head and you had amnesia, you forget about all the people that you're interacting with, especially the ones who you don't meet in your day-to-day life. So again, so much of what we are experiencing is really taking place in our imagination and in our mind, and the meaning that we're giving it then is actually happening as far as the real effect that someone's having in your life. We're interacting with each other, so in a sense, we're having more of a direct effect on each other than the people we say we care about the most, because they aren't here. So the most important people in your life at any given moment are the people that are in front of your face all the time. Those are the most important people. It's who's right in nobody's absent from your life who you need. And anyone that's absent from your life in this moment, you don't need them in your life in this moment. That's deep to think about. So right now we're in each other's experience. So every experience that we're going to have in this moment in terms of relationship is going to happen through us right now. And the rest of it is imaginary. What's going to happen after we leave, what's going to happen before we got here. So the Course is trying to teach us that the events that you experience are always neutral. What you see occurring in the world around you remains neutral until you make the decision as to what it will be for you. So I'm making a decision that what you're going to be for me is my saviors, my brothers and sisters, the ones that help me remember the truth, the ones that keep me in touch with the truth of who I am. I've decided that you're going to be someone that I value, someone that I see as important in my life, someone that's a reminder of God, somebody that's a reminder of love, because I get a chance to decide what you're going to be and what you're going to represent to me. But that doesn't mean I'm going to try to make you be that way. Because then that's where the control freak in us takes over and blows the whole thing up to smithereens. It's when you decide what I'm going to be to you and then you try to make me be that to you.
Yeah.
All right? But what I've got to do is decide what I'm going to be to you, what you're going to be to me, and then I'm going to be in a relationship with you doing two things, showing you who I am and what you are to me. I'm in this room right now to show you who I am and what you are to me, how much I value you and who I am. That's it. Anything other than that is coming from fear and control, and that's why people have so many challenges in relationships, because they assign roles to the people around them and then crucify them when they don't act out the role that you assigned to them. That's why there are problems in relationships. People are assigning roles to people to meet needs that they're making up that they need, and when they don't do that, then they get mad at them and upset with them. So they take this neutral person and then they give this neutral person a meaning as to what that person should mean for them. And then they get upset when they don't do it. That's the problem with 99% of relationships that people are in. That's it, right there. It is. Why? I'm holding you responsible for my happiness. 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 And every time I hold you responsible for my happiness, I'm creating an expectation. That expectation is the mother of grievances. And my grievances are going to come from the expectations I'm having of you that you are not meeting because I don't feel whole and complete, and I need you to make me feel valuable because I'm not doing the work that makes me love myself regardless of what you do or don't do. So my need to have you please me is basically a result of my own laziness in doing what's necessary to get in touch with my wholeness. I want you to do the work for me. I want you to give me the value I'm not giving myself. But I'm neutral and you are neutral. Wow. 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 So when you name it, you define it. When you say I'm your boyfriend, poof, there's a lot of expectations that's going to go with that. When I, if I'm your father, poof, there's a lot of expectations that's going to go with that. So as soon as you name something, then you're going to define it, and then you're going to call every association to that thing to yourself. All right. Boom, 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 boom. I just love light classes like this. I do. I just love classes that are light like this. So, now, so that's why you need to forgive over and over and over again. And then it says forgiveness is nothing but correct perception. Forgiveness doesn't mean I'm overlooking what you did to me because I'm on such a high level of consciousness and you're such a schmuck. Forgiveness actually means that I'm going to see correctly what's happening in this situation. I forgive you means I correctly perceive you. I correctly perceive you as neutral, and I correctly perceive what you did as neutral, and I recognize that my reaction to it is the meaning that I'm giving to it. So my forgiveness of you is based on me taking responsibility for how I'm feeling in any given moment and not holding you responsible for it. So forgiveness in a true way is different from what we've learned in the world. Forgiveness, that's real forgiveness, will free you. Because if you make your happiness dependent on somebody else changing the way they feel about you or apologizing to you, then you're slowing down the process that you have peace and love in your life because you're making your happiness dependent on what they say back to you. So therefore you're limiting yourself. So holding a grievance just hurts you. But it's really a neutral event. You lose your relationship. Some people lose a relationship and they go, it's the best thing that ever happened to me, thank God. And then some people lose a relationship and they want to go jump off a bridge. Those seem to have lost the relationship. Notice the reactions were different. Why was the reactions different? Because one person saw it as a benefit, the other person saw it as a loss. So if you could learn to see every change in your life as helpful, then you wouldn't ever be sad. So if you could learn how to say that relationship moved on, that was the best thing that could ever happen to me, that job moved on, that was the best thing that could have ever happened to me. If you start looking at every change in your life as a stepping stone towards your ultimate happiness, which is what the universe is really planning for you, is your ultimate happiness, then you wouldn't be sad all the time because it's hard to be sad about something that's benefiting you. So if something left your life and you went, my God, that means something great is getting ready to come that's even better than that, then you can bless the thing that leaves and stay with this beautiful anticipation of the next beautiful thing that the universe is going to bring to you. So you'd be excited as soon as something leaves instead of being devastated because you thought your whole happiness was in that neutral thing that to you wasn't neutral because you made your happiness it. Now remember, when you're with somebody and you get really turned on, we were told a few weeks ago, if you're with somebody and you feel some love like you've never felt before, you feel happiness like you've never felt before, and you're with them and you feel so good, we were told a couple of weeks ago that that was the love of God coming through you because you were giving yourself permission to allow it with that person. Then you turn around and tell you that person generated that really good feeling that you had, so then your mind says, I gotta get them. I got to get them now. I got to have them because this person makes me feel so good. That's when you deceived yourself. That's when the pain is going to happen. And that's when you're going to start to kill the relationship and squeeze the life out of the relationship because you've become afraid of losing it. And so now you become clingy and crazy, which I know none of you have ever done. So I'm just kind of being redundant. I know that none of you have ever acted just damn fools in a relationship. Y'all just all been, okay, you've never been behind the bush across the street watching. I know you haven't. You've never done any of that. You had somebody else do it for you. Yeah, because you're on a higher level of consciousness. You don't do your own stalking. You hire somebody. Okay. So the truth is you're seeing only two types of people in the world. You're seeing people who recognize you because they're just like you. Like if you're trying to be conscious and loving and aware, then people who are trying to be conscious and loving and aware, they recognize each other. People who are not trying to be conscious, loving, and aware, regular folk, then those people see you, but they think you're just like them. Yeah. And that's because they're the way you used to be before you started to wake up. So there's just two types of people that you're seeing in your world. People who are the way you are now and people who are the way you used to be. So that's why you can forgive them. Because every one of them are taking an attitude that you used to take before you started to wake up. They're projecting, they're blaming, they're seeing themselves as victims, they're holding other people responsible for what they're going through. That's the way you used to be before you start to take more responsibility for yourself. So every time you get mad at somebody else for being the way you used to be, that's you not forgiving yourself for being that way. And then you keep your own grievance going. So everybody's giving you an opportunity to forgive yourself for the way you used to be if they're still doing what you don't do anymore. Instead of you getting mad at them, it's an opportunity for you to release yourself and bless yourself. Oh, Earl 1968. Oh, Earl 1995. Oh, Earl 2014. Earl 2015. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I'm looking at Earl everywhere. Now, I haven't physically murdered anyone, but I've had attacked thoughts. Right? So I'm not any different from somebody else with attacked thoughts. They just took it to an extreme level. have I ever robbed anybody? Not in terms of putting a gun on somebody and taking something from them, but I've robbed myself of happiness by being stupid sometimes and not doing what I should do. So I've robbed. You see what I'm saying? Whatever you're looking at, the content of that situation is something you've done in the past, even if you haven't done the exact form of what that person is doing. You've had that thought. So the only thing that's different between you and anything and anybody you're looking at is time. That's it. It's just time is the only thing that makes us think we're different. You acting crazy today, I acted crazy yesterday. So you say, what's wrong with Earl? And then tomorrow you might be acting crazy just like Earl was. And then Earl will be going, what's wrong with you? So time is the only thing that makes us think we're different. But we're all exactly alike. We're all pursuing happiness. And we're all pursuing happiness in the way we think we can achieve it. And then we're judging each other for the ways we do it. That's it. That's the only thing that's going on in the world. Everybody in this room want to be happy. Everybody in this room want to have peace. But what we're doing is we're judging each other for the way we go about doing it. So really all of us want the same thing. So we're not really different because what shares a common purpose is the same. If we have a common purpose, we're the same. So if you're in a relationship, you want to be in a relationship with someone who has a common purpose with you if you don't want to be in constant conflict. But most people don't do that. That's too easy. Right? Because the part of me that needs to suffer needs conflict, and so the part of me that thinks I need to be punished is not going to be with somebody that I give myself peace with. That's the last residue of my desire to punish myself. It's what keeps me in relationships that don't make me unhappy. It has nothing to do with the other person. I just don't think I'm worthy of joy right now. And I can get plenty of help. All they gotta do is meet somebody else that don't want to be happy either.
That's right.
And then we can, and if we really want to do it, we can make a commitment. Okay, all right. So if you don't start laughing at this, you'll never get past it. I'm telling you, being serious makes it real. Being serious makes it real. It makes it even more intense. So if one wrongs you and you spend your energy trying to convince them that they wronged you and that you have a right to be angry, that you have a right to be attacking in any way, then you're going to call to yourself when you're angry, when you're attacking, you're going to call to yourself the energy of conflict, judgment, war, death, disease, unhappiness, and separation instantly and have a nice day. Okay? So the next time you're upset with somebody and you're going off, right now I really want to have the energy of conflict, judgment, war, death, and disease, and unhappiness with you. Could I have conflict, judgment, war, death, disease, and unhappiness with you about what you did last night? Can I destroy my body about you coming home late? Would that be okay with you? Yeah, much as you bothering me, yeah, go ahead and destroy your body. I'll be rude to you. Okay, so whenever you're mad at somebody, all you're doing is attacking yourself to hurt them. They don't feel the pain, you're killing yourself. Your body, you can't kill yourself, killing your body. So next time you're all mad and righteous in your anger and your indignation, just recognize that the only person that's feeling that is you, 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 and the only person that's feeling your anger is you, the only person that's feeling your depression is you. If you're sitting up here with a stomachache right now, none of the rest of us are taking Pepto-Bismol. Okay, so your pain is your own individual illusion, and you feel it on your own, and nobody else is really feeling it. So the way you feel is affecting you more than anybody else, unless it's love. Love we can share. The rest of it is our own individual experience, and you might have a lot of empathy, so you think you're feeling the other person's stomachache, but you just know what a stomachache feels like. So you're feeling it too. This is interesting stuff, even though you don't have to believe it, but it certainly makes more sense than what I hear in the world. Okay? So now, any questions, comments, ahas, whatever it is you want to say. We'll take a few minutes to do that. Okay, yes.
You can finish up.
No, this hour.
Basically what I hear you saying is resentment is made out of expectations and self-delusions about what realities are. And that is the poison we drink, hoping the other son of a bitch dies?
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
Just so I got clear on that.
Yes,
one.
yes.
Yeah.
We're thoroughly convinced that if we attack ourselves enough, the other person will change.
Yeah.
If I show you how angry and upset and miserable I am, then you're going to feel so guilty that you do what I want you to do. That's the game that we play in the world. I'm going to make you feel so bad, you let me control you. And with the person that's doing that, they don't know they're just attacking their own body. They're just calling to themselves conflict, judgment, war, death, disease, and unhappiness and separation.
One question on that.
Mm-hmm.
Once you know that, which was it made evident to me quite a while ago,
Mm-hmm.
how the hell do you stop doing it?
Well, first of all, it starts with a decision,
Well,
right? The first thing you do is you decide that you're going to see things differently. Then you start to do the very thing that caused you to feel the old way you used to feel, which was constant repetition and constantly doing that over and over again. You constantly projected, you constantly got angry, you constantly blamed over and over and over again. Now you go, okay, I'm feeling the way that I'm feeling right now. I'm giving myself this feeling that I'm having right now. I'm going to take responsibility for choosing to feel this way right now. I'm not going to pretend I don't still feel anger right now because I'm trying to do it differently, but I haven't mastered it yet. So I'm going to feel this anger, but I'm going to tell myself I'm making myself feel it, even though it looks like I can't stop myself from feeling it. That's where it starts. It starts with you owning every feeling you have as being self-created, even though you might not be at the point right now that you can stop doing it. Does everybody hear me on that?
Yeah.
So at the very least, the next time you're going off and you're depressed and you're mad and you're blaming, say, I'm making myself mad, I'm making myself mad, I'm making myself angry, I'm making myself upset. There's another way to look at it. Perhaps there's another way to look at it. Then you take one of the statements that you've learned in all the truth that you're studying and you apply it to that situation, because that's why we're studying it. So that we'll use some of these terms and sentences to describe what we're going through. Like for me, I go, God, I'm feeling my anger. That's my deep call for love. That's my deep call for God. That's asking me to look at it another way. So I start to tell myself something new, right? Sometimes you might need to separate in order to heal. Sometimes you'll be with people and you can't help yourself in terms of the way you react to them. And so you might need to back off for a minute until you can kind of look at the situation from a more objective place and see that it's neutral, that that person really isn't doing anything to you. It's really you seeing it the way that you're seeing it that's making you feel the way that you feel. And sometimes you need to get back off of a situation to be able to change your mind about it. So separating physically from somebody doesn't mean you separated. And being physically with somebody doesn't mean you're joined. Check that out. That's right, because I've had the most loneliness I've ever experienced was in relationships with somebody sometimes. I've been in relationships where it was just two bodies together under the same roof, calling it a relationship. And then I was suffering and I didn't want to do it by myself, so I made sure they stayed at home. So that they could see me suffering. Because what would be the point if nobody was there to look? Just we'll have a good time. How many times has somebody been upset with you and you was in a heated argument or disagreement? And then the phone rang, and they picked up the phone and go, "Hey, what's going on, girl?" "Yeah, when you want to get together next Friday?" "Yeah, Notice that they immediately changed the way they were responding the minute that they were talking to somebody else, which proves that the way that they were feeling was a decision that they were making and not something that they couldn't help. Because if they couldn't help feeling the way they were feeling, the other person calling on the phone wouldn't have generated a pleasant response from them. So we are feeling the way we feel because we're deciding to and because we're choosing to, not because we have to. I used to think you couldn't have control over your feelings. I thought feelings was something that you couldn't control at all. You just had to feel the way you were feeling. That's a lie. Your feelings are coming from the interpretation that you're giving to what's going on. That's what your feelings are coming from. So I say that some of you have been coming for a while. You've heard me say this 100 times. It's not enough. You need to hear me say it more. Because the way you think now came from repetition. The new way that you're going to think is going to also come from repetition. If you notice, these books keep saying, remember to say this, remember to say that, remember to say this. It never says analyze any of it. Analyzation is just something that you do when you're not ready to use the information you've received. Because it delays you actually doing anything with it. So when you're not ready to use the new information that you've gotten, because you want to continue to do what you've been doing, you're going to stop and analyze it for a long, long time. Because you're not ready to do what you were just told. So don't think all your analyzation means that you're really getting down. It just means you're really delaying. That's all. And you're innocent because that's neutral too. Delaying is neutral. Analyzing is neutral. It's not good, it's not bad, but it just don't change nothing. But isn't it great to know that you can delay as long as you want? That nobody's going to... Notice that whatever created us never just hit you in the butt and said you got to go do something right now. It just seems to make it okay. Some people can just, do nothing for their whole life and just leave. So we're so free, nothing is forcing us to do anything. Isn't that awesome? We are so free. Nothing is forcing us to do anything. So that's why sometimes we want to get relationships so that we can have somebody take responsibility for our change by looking to them to constantly try to get us to do stuff. Like a mama or daddy. Well, you wouldn't be trying to get in a relationship to replace your mother or father, would you? You wouldn't be getting in a relationship with somebody who reminds you of your mama. You know, it was funny. My wife, when I was married, had the exact same astrological combination as my mother. And I didn't realize it until after I got into astrology and looked at her chart. And it explains so much. It explains so much. So you'd be amazed at how much the relationships that you choose are a reflection of your first experience of masculine and feminine in your life that started with your parents. And that's very true because that was how you first got indoctrinated with how love is. So if somebody was abusive to you when you were a child and you associated somebody loving you with somebody abusing you, then you would be attracted to people who abused you when you were an adult and not be turned on by people who are kind to you. Mm-hmm. They'll be never the ones you actually have a relationship. Those will be the ones you just call friends. Mm-hmm. That's deep, man. Mm-hmm. This stuff is so true. Anybody else? Yeah.
You talk a lot about not dwelling on the negative things that have happened to us in the past in practice, but what do you think about, we'll call it reminiscing about the good times, like thinking about the good things that happen?
I think it's always an excellent idea to remember the loving thoughts. Okay. It's an excellent idea to remember the loving thoughts, but not in the sense that you're trying to recreate the form that it happened in again. Mm. It's okay to recreate the fact that, God, I had a great time. But I'm making a mistake when I said, now I'm going to do that over and over and over again. You know what I'm saying? That's the error. But to remember the joy you experienced with someone, that love is the only thing that was real about that encounter. So it's great to remember the loving times you have with people, because that's the only thing that was real. If you notice, you can still feel that same feeling now, even though the events are gone. So the events were the illusion, but the feeling you had, that was real. So by all means, remember the loving thoughts. As a matter of fact, that would be the best thing in the world to do, especially when you're upset with somebody, is to appreciate the good efforts and overlook the mistakes that they've made. Focus on the things that they've done that's been supported and not on everything that you can remember that upsets you about them. That would be the loving thing to do. If you say you care, all the people you say are special to you, seems like they should be the one that's receiving the love that we're learning in this book before anybody. I mean, why are you with them if a book says forgive them, love them, acknowledge them, and you go, oh, and what the hell are you doing with them? Mm-hmm. If it's such a big deal for you to tell somebody that you're with, that you love them, what you're doing with them. If that's torture for you to read a teaching that says you should appreciate them and you get depressed, it's obvious that you're not giving them the meaning that they should have for you. You're not seeing their divinity at all. So really, you should work on yourself. You're the one that should be the patient, not them. Which is deep, which is really deep. It takes a lot of willingness to take responsibility to move forward on a spiritual path. But by all means, remember the loving stuff. Anybody else? It can be a comment. It doesn't have to be a question. This is just your time to share.
I love the synchronicity of my days. So just before going to class, I was participating in a Facebook conversation about pain and why we have pain, and someone that I love is dealing with a lot of pain and processing that. And then we have this passage that basically says that anytime that I choose to have anger or an attacking thought, I'm calling into every cell of my body, the energy of conflict, judgment, war, death, disease, unhappiness, and separation. Just reading that makes me ache.
Check that out.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so, to recognize the value in one sentence, you ask the question why, and the answer will come. So.
And the most important question to ask is, who am I? Why am I here? What am I on the planet for? It's not to go to the mall. I know that's disappointing. You sure? That was a pair of shoes I saw. That did seem like the purpose of life. I have to admit that that's true. That's true. You see, there's nothing in the world that is not okay for you to experience in a loving way. So nothing about being on the spiritual path means you can't drive a nice car, you can't have a nice house, that's not the issue anymore. All that's neutral. What really matters is, are you going to use the things you get to make you miserable? Are you going to use the things you get to bring you to love and real truth? That's it. The rest of it doesn't really matter. You can be in a mansion, you can be in a shack. but you can be in a mansion and be miserable and happy, and you can be in a shack and be miserable and happy. I've met very rich people since I've been sharing who were very happy being rich. I'm sorry, there are rich people that are happy. People who don't have money tend to take solace in thinking they got money, but they're really not happy. That's bull. They're having a good time. And then there's some of them that's not. Then there's people who don't have money that are having a good time. I see people in third world countries on the news look much happier than Americans with everything that they could possibly have. And Americans walking around with a sour face. And you look at little kids in a village that don't have nothing jumping up and down with joy and light in their eyes. So we are the living proof that materiality does not make one happy in and of itself, even though we're completely mesmerized into thinking that that does. That's the fun. It's like we all know it, but we're still doing it. Isn't that amazing? It's like we all know it. We all have gotten material things that we want and not been completely satisfied, but then our mind will say, well, it's just that wasn't the right material thing. So I need to get the other one. So I'm not anti-material. I'm just saying don't fool yourself into thinking it's anything but neutral. It's neutral. It's not, your new car isn't going to make you happy, but you can give yourself joy about your new car. But your new car has nothing to do with your happiness. Are you beginning to get a glimmering of the power that that has for you to be happy today if you would start to look at it that way? Anybody else?
I guess the thing that's really profoundly hard for me to digest is when you said that sickness is some form of grievances, anger, resentment. It's just profoundly hard for me to digest, and I find it incredibly spiritually painful as a person who's living with illness. That somehow I invited this into my life.
Yes.
And that if I somehow expel it out of my life, am I going to physically get better?
No, what it's supposed to do is get you to turn within even more to your spiritual relationship with God, which is what everybody, see, sickness is any form of lack of peace. Sickness isn't just a physical illness. It's any form of lack of peace. So the purpose of it is two things. One purpose of sickness is to convince you that you're a physical body. Because if you're going through a lot of pain, it draws your attention to your body and it makes you believe that that's what you are. So there's a part of us that uses what our body goes through to make us think we're not these unlimited spiritual beings that we're hearing about. The other thing that sickness is, it's a call for love. It's a request to allow yourself to have more love for yourself and more love come into your life and more love for your Creator. So in your right mind, your sickness is just a call for help, a call for healing, and a call for love. It's a prayer. In the part of your mind that believes that you're not innocent, then it uses your sickness to create some form of grievance or some form of pain. So it's not a judgment on you at all. It's sort of like, that's why I said that sickness is any form of lack of peace, so that people wouldn't think that if you have a physical illness, somehow or another, you got more of a challenge than somebody who doesn't. That's not what we're saying at all. It's neutral too. Your sickness is neutral. There are people who have physical ailments who don't look at it in such a way that they see it as limiting themselves. Yeah. So therefore, physical illness in and of itself is neutral. But on some level, it's trying to get you in touch with some thoughts that need to be handled. And that's any form of lack of peace, not just a physical illness. Does everybody see what I'm saying? So I know that's the hardest thing of all is to accept that when I'm going through something that's really painful, that I'm the one that invited it in my life. The advantage of that is I'm the one that can also do something about it leaving my life. There is absolutely no advantage to me seeing myself as a victim of anything outside of myself, because then I have absolutely no control at all about any part of it. So I can see why it would be really attractive to blame my parents for everything that I'm going through right now. It would be very easy to say I'm this way and I'm going through stuff in America because I'm in a black body and I'm oppressed. That'd be easy. It looks like it, right? But that makes me completely helpless. And it makes everything about my life dependent on making somebody who don't like me like me. Okay, that's horrible. What attracted me to metaphysics, quite frankly, was I wanted to get in touch with some laws that work regardless of your race. I'm just being straight up with you. I knew that if I looked at it in terms of the society that I had created for myself, I was doomed. But if I could get in touch with some laws that operated regardless of race, creed, color, or social or economic conditions, then I could allow my life to change, and it did. I often cite the example of 90% of the people who come to my classes are in white bodies. That proves to me that it's all about your consciousness and not about the color of your skin. So you see what I'm saying? I changed my mind, and people that I was programmed to think were my oppressors ended up being the people who support me more than anybody else, because I wanted to love instead of wanting to hate. That's why when I don't care what people are talking about, you meeting your own consciousness. The person that's looking for the policeman that's going to beat the hell out of them will meet the policeman that's going to beat the hell out of him. And the person who's looking for the policeman that has some innocence and some love in him will meet the policeman that's got innocence and love in him. Exactly. And if I got a lot of unconscious hate and guilt toward myself, then I'm going to attract attack to me in the world to get me to get in touch with what's going on inside of my own mind. I know that this is not something that everybody wants to hear, but I'm sorry, it doesn't have anything to do with the truth of it. Whether you like something or not does not have anything to do with whether it's true or not. And that's why I had to learn how to hear stuff that I didn't like in order to start to grow spiritually. In order to grow spiritually, you're going to have to be willing to hear things you don't like. You are. You're gonna have to hear stuff said to you that you don't necessarily want to hear if you want to get out of pain. You really are. So to tell me that I chose an alcoholic father who abused my mother as part of my spiritual growth isn't easy for me to hear. But my saying that to myself keeps me from believing I'm a victim of my father and a victim of my mother. So then I forgive my father. He's just being the way I ordered him to be for my spiritual growth. Now, some people would disagree with that, but it really doesn't make any difference if anybody disagrees with me or not, because they have a right to choose to look at things the way they want to look at it, right? But that doesn't mean I got to change my mind about what I believe is true because nobody else in the room says that they agree with me. If you want to be free, you got to let go of your need for anybody to agree with you when you're following your heart and what you know is right for you. I didn't start to feel free until I made it okay for people to agree with me and not agree with me, like me and not like me, right? And you guess what? It works. It really does, because when you're authentic, people who can't handle authenticity will leave. And it just leave you with the people who like you and who want your good. I'd much rather do it the way when I used to be wishy-washy, trying to please everybody, so I was surrounded by people who liked me, didn't like me, I liked them, didn't like them, they enjoyed me, I didn't enjoy them, they didn't enjoy me. All that stuff went out of my life the once that I stopped caring about whether or not anybody liked me the way I used to in the past. Try it sometimes and see who you end up with. You end up with the coolest people you ever could imagine in your life. When you change, there are going to be 3 reactions. The people that you know, some people that you know are going to replace you with somebody else who meets the needs for them that you used to meet, that you're no longer meeting because you've changed. And some people are going to be going through the exact same change as you are, so they're going to be with you during your change. And the third group of people, you're going to have to choose out of relationships with them. You're going to have to just say, you know what? You're innocent, I'm innocent. I'm getting off this train with you. I bless you, but I've got to do it differently now. Those are the 3 things that's going to happen. Some people, it's not about you no way to them. It's the needs that they have that they think you're fulfilling. Yeah. That's why as soon as you stop, they'll replace you with somebody else, because it never was about you in the first place. It's just inconvenient to look for somebody else. It's not that they're in love with you. It's like, no, now I got to go find somebody else to meet my needs. That sounds cold, don't it? But you know it's true, y'all. Don't know it's true. You know it's true. You know it's true. You know it's true. You know it's true. That's why they're not even talking to you today. You can't even pick up the phone and call them. And y'all used to confess all kinds of love for each other. You're just not meeting each other's needs anymore. I don't need you anymore. You're not meeting my needs. You're doing somebody else's needs. I got to find somebody else to meet my need right now. And I call it, I just fallen in love again. That's the code word. I'm in love again. I just met somebody else that I can project my needs on, and they're going to promise me that they're going to meet them, because we promised that kind of stuff to each other in the beginning. I'm going to be your everything. You're going to be my everything. You know, and the truth is, you are my everything. You are. You are. Imagine being with somebody that wanted your happiness as much as you do, who wants your peace as much as you do. Wow. You have to imagine it before you can have it, you know. You have to start thinking about that possibility before you can have it. What would it be like to somebody to see you as so beautiful and so wonderful and so incredible that when they look at you, you just cry. There's some people that I look at them and they look at me and I cry, and they cry because of the joy that we feel, the love that we feel. And I like that. And my goal is to feel that way about everyone, which conflicts with specialness, because specialness is about, them being the only one that ever feels that for me. So that doesn't roll over too big. But I don't care, because I'm here to be the presence of love. I'm here to represent a love that's greater than the love that human love does, no matter what that looks like in terms of how people react to me. Some people like it, some people don't like it. But I'm not here to do it the old way. I'm here to be a part of the new way. And I want to meet other people who want to be a part of something new and something beautiful, who have really reached their limit with the way that we do each other in this world, who are more interested in just their own personal happiness, that they actually want somebody else to be happy too. So I have to be that kind of person, damn it. And that's the part that's a trip. I have to be what I want to have. I got to stop waiting for it to show up when Earl isn't like that himself. So right now I'm busy as hell trying to be what I am. In a world where people say they respect that, but they crucify you when you start doing it, because you used to crucify them for doing it. See, everything I used to do is being done to me. I have to forgive the people for doing what I used to do so I can be free of it by not attacking them back. And then that's how I end all attack in my life. It stops with me. So yeah, you said something that I didn't like, and I'm not going to attack you for it, so that you will be out of my life. But if I attack you, I'm binding myself to you, because we got the same energy going for each other. So that's the part where most people on the spiritual path wimp out, because our desire to attack is stronger than our desire to love until we recognize the truth. Because it's so easy to attack. We've learned how to attack. We've learned how to defend. But learning how to be invulnerable, being so loving that no one can even want to hurt you. See, you can be so loving, nobody will want to hurt you. Your vibration won't even attract it to you. Try it sometimes. Do you know that a really loud, emphatic request for peace could change a situation that you were threatened in? That you could go, I want peace in this situation. And you could watch the thing that was threatening you disappear. Most people don't know that because they don't ever try it. They don't even think to try it. Deep, 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 deep. All right, let me do a little bit more before we get out of here. It's not that much. Unless somebody else has something to say. I'm advocating you being loved and happy and being cherished and adored and devoted to. That's what I'd like to see happen to everybody in here.
Yay!
Is that a trick statement? No. I'm putting out in the universe what I'd like to experience and like you to experience. I'm saying it. You see, most people don't have a problem expressing their anger. So they remember when they're angry a lot. Most people don't feel as comfortable expressing their love. We'll say, I hate you quicker than we'll say, I love you. We'll say what we're upset about with somebody quicker than we'll say what we appreciate them for. And then we wonder why we see more lack of appreciation than we see appreciation, because I'll be shy to tell you I love you and I want your peace. But I'll be quick to tell you what you're doing is making me mad. So whatever you don't express, you forget you ever felt. Did you know that? Whatever you don't express, you forget you ever felt it. That's why when you express anger, you remember it. You remember it because you cussed them out. But if I love you and I never tell you, I'll forget I love you. But I'll always remember how upset I am with you because I get you straight. You follow what I'm saying? So are you one of those people? Are you only verbal when you're talking about what you don't like? But you can never grab someone and hug them and say, you know what, I appreciate you. You're the greatest blessing that I've ever had in my life, Moogums. Can you do that? Can you do that? Can you grab your kid and tell you the most innocent, beautiful, incredible thing that's ever walked this earth? Or are you always, Johnny, you know. Then all you remember is how you upset with your kid. So stop not expressing the good stuff and try to breathe before you express the other stuff, even if you think you got to express it. You'll be amazed that if you will breathe at a neutral event, just take a minute and go, I feel like cussing you out. That 1 second pause can be enough to get you to have a whole different reaction to the situation. If you just learn how to breathe. And sometimes you'll be like this. But you'll be amazed. If you keep doing that, you'll calm down. Or if the person is going off, don't you say anything. Don't you say anything. Don't you say anything. Don't you say anything. You just sit there. You breathe. Listen, 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 listen. And what they're going to do, if you don't mess with them and you let them get it out, sooner or later they're going to go, I'm kind of going off. I'm kind of like, would you forgive me for what I said last night? But if you interrupt, then you keep them from getting to the love behind the anger. Because love is always the foundation behind all of your upset. But if you believe what the person is saying to you, you are going to defend yourself. So the minute they call you stupid and ugly or whatever they're calling you, you're going to react because you believe them. If you don't believe them, then you're just going to let them communicate until they have expelled. It's like puking, right? You drink a whole lot, you know what I'm saying? Your stomach is sour. Puking is not pleasant. But you would be, you feel better when you get through. You know what I'm saying? You ain't ready to get nobody a big French kiss right away, but I like to get graphic. Everybody kind of got that, come here, baby, come here, kiss me. Come on. Okay. So, but when you get through, you feel better. That's what you're doing all the time when you're releasing your fear and your anger and your guilt. You are just calling for help. That's all you're doing. You're saying, help me, I'm afraid. Help me, I think I'm losing. Help me, I think I'm losing. Help me, let me know I'm significant. Let me know I'm important. Let me know I'm valued. Help me. And it might take the form of jealousy, anger, upset, depression, going off. Don't get fooled by the form the call for help is coming to you in. Men tend to do it with anger because we're taught you just don't break down and cry if you're a man. So when we're most afraid is when we act the craziest with anger. And then men, they want to go in and out. You know what I'm saying? So when a man gets upset, he wants to get out. So you best just let him go. Because he'll cool out, he'll come back. We go in and out. Y'all ever noticed that? We go in and out. Women open and close. Right? They'll stay there, but they closed. They're not leaving out the door, but they closed. Right? So the challenge is, I am being tempted to contract and withdraw my love and not see this as a neutral event. I'm going to breathe and keep loving you. I'm going to breathe and keep loving you. I'm going to breathe and keep loving you. If I'm getting ready to go, I'm going to go so I can become sane enough to talk to you. I'm not leaving because I don't want to handle this. I'm leaving because I don't want to attack you or me. I know I'm going crazy. Let me have a moment to come back to sanity. But then usually because the feminine does the open and closing thing and not the in and out, where you going? You need to stay here and talk this out with me right now. Now, if I stay here and talk this out with you, I'm going to kill you. You might want me to go. Okay, you don't want me here right now. Why? Because I'm not sane. How do I know I'm not sane? I'm mad as hell, which means I have distorted perception, which means I'm not seeing anything that's going on correctly. Let me get away. Let me breathe. And then have the new purpose. It's just that simple, but we won't do simple stuff like that. When we want to be hurt, we're not going to do the things that's going to make the person not hurt us because we want to be hurt. So I'll get in your face. I'll get in your face. What you going to do? I want to be killed. I want to be hit. I don't think I'm valuable. Hit me. That's what that's about. So that's why we're learning how to look at all these events differently, That's why we're beginning to see ourselves as calling for love. So all the neutral events that are happening in your life right now, see them as your call for love, your call for help, your call for God, your call to look at something differently, your call to take responsibility for what you're feeling right now and stop blaming everybody else for what you're feeling, so that you can attract people to you who don't blame you, don't attack you, and don't hurt you either. And then you party like a big dog. Me and my friends have great times together. And my friends try to take responsibility for their experience. And they're not perfect at it, and I'm not either, but it's so much easier than when I used to have friends that all were blaming everybody else for everything they were going through all the time. So that meant they were gonna blame me sooner or later. You know, when I didn't act right. Right? When I didn't act right. So you all have been freed. You heard all you need tonight to free yourself. If you never come to another class I ever do, you could change your life with the information you got tonight. Your life never has to be the same at all. It's all a matter of motivation. Everything is a matter of motivation. Everything is a matter of motivation. And motivation comes from you believing you're going to get what you want. So if you tell yourself, practicing, taking responsibility, and not blaming and projection will get you what you want, you'll start to do it. So all you have to do is tell yourself, this will give me what I want. This will allow me to have what I want. This is going to move me toward what I really, really want. And you'll be more motivated to do it. And then forgive yourself when you still do the things you used to do, because readiness isn't mastery, which means that just because you're ready to change, it doesn't mean you've changed yet. It just means you have some potential to change. So be gentle with yourself. Be real gentle with yourself. What does that look like? It means when you do go off, which you surely will, say that, oh, that was just my call for love. That was a mistake. There's another way I need to look at this. I'm going to try not to do that again. That's it. That's it. That's all you have to do, because you're learning. And spirit needs a happy learner, not somebody just crucifying themselves every step of the way. All right? All right, would you acknowledge yourself for here it is? So I'm going to do a quick little recap thing right at the end. We're going to do the financial expression of appreciation. Thank you for sharing with me. I'm a full-time teacher of this material, so thank you for seeing value and sharing with me financially. Those of you online watching, you can go to my website, earlpurdy.com, and you can make a financial expression. We put the next row, a financial expression of appreciation on my website. I'm also available for one-on-one sessions. These sessions are called clarity sessions, where we take the thing that you've been using to block yourself, and together we release you from that by giving you other ways to look at it. If you're open also to my knowledge of astrology and numerology and a more intuitive side of things, I do that also, but it's not required. I only want to do stuff with people that they're open to. So those of you online, go to my website, and the people in the room, go to my website. It explains in detail what I do, so that you can use me. I like to be used. Cars that you don't use rust. So don't mind people using you. You being used keeps you young and keeps you powerful and keeps you aware. So don't fight being used. It's great to be used. It's okay to be used. All right, so take a breath, please. And Sunday is A Course in Miracles. And then also right now, there's a Course of Love class that CJ does at 6:30 on Sundays here. And that's the Course of Love is to the heart, what the Course in Miracles is to the mind. Those of you who came today, I video my classes and I send them out in email so people can see them again. And you can also go to my website. All my video classes on my website. And those of you watching online, go to my website and sign up for my contact list. I also have a contact list here. Why? Because repetition, 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 repetition. That's what we need. It's repetition. So my good friend Scott Calistine has a really interesting song that I'd like for you to hear. It's talking about waking up, because that's what we're trying to do right now, aren't we? Yeah. We're really wanting to wake up. One thing that you heard tonight, anybody, that really impacted you that you want to remember is anybody.
Everything's neutral.
Everything is neutral.
That we have to hear it over and over and over and over again to change our mind.
That we need to hear it over and over and over. Because remember, the crazy way we think right now, the only reason why we think that way is because TV, radio, movies, family, how we grew up, what we told ourselves, we heard it over and over again to the point now that insanity sounds sane to us. We really are crazy. But we don't know that we aren't crazy. We just learn crazy things. And we know it's crazy because we're not happy all the time. That's all you need to know to let you know something's off. You're not feeling peace, right? Anybody else? Something you heard that you want to remember?
Love is the foundation. You gotta get rid of the anger to get to the love.
That's right. Love is the foundation. On the other side of the anger is the love. So if someone needs to communicate something, please shut up and let them say what they are saying, even if you don't like it. Here's another tip, those of you who are honesty freaks. What do I call an honesty freak? It's somebody that says, I'm in a relationship with somebody, if they just have to tell me the truth. If they just tell me the truth, that's the only thing that really matters, if they tell me the truth. I just got to tell me the truth. If you tell me the truth, then don't attack them.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to tell you the truth if you continue to attack them. Nobody's going to tell you the truth if you're attacking them. They will not do it. So even if the person is saying something you don't want to hear, if at all possible, shut up and be quiet and let them say it without attacking them, because once they know they can tell you things without you attacking them, they'll tell you everything. But they're not going to do it if you're acting a fool and going off as soon as they tell you the truth that you've been saying you want to hear. I mean, you can do it if you want to, but you won't get the result that you're looking for, because nobody wants to be attacked. And people only hide things from you because they're afraid of losing you. And they're afraid of being attacked. So you can't have it both ways. You cannot attack a person for telling you something that you say you want them to be honest about, and at the same time expect them to keep on wanting to tell you everything that you want to know. So you got to make a choice. Either you're going to move toward peace and learn how to be a peaceful person, or you can keep on attacking and just attract people who are going to attack you all the time. Those are your only two choices. That's it. That's it. And you're in control of that. You are. The attack has to stop with me. I had to make the decision, I'm going to stop going off. I'm going to stop trying to manipulate and control people for my own fantasies and desires. You know what happened when I made that decision? All my fantasies and desires started to be met. That's the weird part about it. As soon as I released it and let the universe take care of it, through who wanted to take care of it, then they were there. But as long as I was picking and choosing who was supposed to be, it was nothing but struggle after struggle after struggle after struggle. So you have a right to ask for what you want that you think the person is going to give you. So I can decide I want you to give me something. There's nothing wrong with me asking for the love that I want. I have a right to that. But what I don't have the right to is to try to manipulate you into being the one to give it to me if that's not what you want to do. You follow me? You have a right to ask for anything you want. You're screwing up when you decide who's supposed to give it to you. Especially if they don't want to. That's your hint. You might want to, your soulmate doesn't have a restraining order out on you. So just next time, just remember that. But if you love somebody that don't love you, this is the depressingest class you've ever heard. Because you're not ready to give up your fantasy of controlling that person to give you what you want. But the mere fact that you look to them to be the one that gives you what you want means that you're not asking the universe to give it to you. Because the universe is not going to support you into believing that your happiness is in something outside of you. So it's almost like the more attached you are to the outcome, the less it manifests. You're much more likely to get what you want if you decide you're going to be happy even if you don't have it. Then it shows up. Because the universe knows, you can have it because you're not going to lose your mind. You're still going to value yourself. But if I give it to you and you go, well, that's my salvation, then I made the mistake by giving it to you. Follow me? Everybody follow what I'm talking about? That's the truth. I'm telling you, if you want something, then try to get yourself to the state of mind that you'd be happy if it didn't happen. You have a much greater possibility of it happening. So waking up is hard to do.
As a gift from, you might say, my higher self, and they come to educate, instruct, heal, enliven, and inspire my lower self, the part of me that gets fearful or guilty. And this particular song that I'm about to sing actually came from my lower self and went directly up to my higher self to complain. Tell me to keep breathing, that your love will guide my way. Why does my little ego wanna say, don't take my pain away from me. Don't leave me here without my misery. 'Cause if I let go, then what would I do? This waking up is hard to do. Remember when I loved to fight, got so much pleasure just from being right. Now pointing fingers just makes me blue.
Guess what?
This waking up is hard to do. They say that waking up is hard to do. So many lifetimes of sleeping through. Don't say maybe I could.
Guess what?
Instead of waking up, I think I'll hang on to my victimhood.
What?
My guru says only love is real. My therapist tells me to feel. Seems every year there's more issues. This waking up is hard to do. They say that waking up is hard to do. It's hard enough to turn off the tube. Don't say maybe I can.
Guess what?
Instead of waking up, I think I'll stay in couch potato land. My challenges, they make me wiser. They help me grow just like some fertilizer. Wish I could grow without doo-doo. This waking up is hard to do.
All right, mighty companions. Remember that. I appreciate you. And guess what? Codes are available. And guess what? May the course be with you. I'll see you next time. Thanks for coming, y'all. Y'all awesome beings. You deserve love. Don't accept anything less.
Most of the songs that I write come as a gift from, you might say, my higher self, and they come to educate, instruct.